Hey everybody, this is Alex Garcia. In this discussion and slash week, I'd like to go over the progress that me and my co-teacher have made within the 5E lesson plan. So just kind of going back up. This is somewhat what we have so far. We got our content standard filled out, learning objective. I won't read all of those out loud just because they were in the last videos that we did, I believe. And I want to go over the explanation portion. This is a lot of what we worked on this last week. So, starting off with the transition into this section, reading through. This is kind of the layout of the class and how it's going to go. So for teacher A, they would start off with saying, with a show of hands, who can tell me how many representatives are in the legislative branch? And then students would raise their hands. This would typically only take a couple seconds. And then teacher A calls on a student. Student happened to be named Tommy. He replies, there are 453 representatives. Teacher A replies, 453 representatives. Does anyone else think there's a different number of representatives? And then the class responds, no. This also only takes a couple seconds, maybe 5 or 8 seconds. Teacher A says, perfect. Good job, scholars. That is correct. There are 453 representatives in the legislative branch. Teacher B, kind of switching off, would come in and say, all right, now that we know how many representatives we have, can someone share with the class as to why these representatives are important? A student named Tyler raises his hand. This takes about 15 seconds of a little bit of silence. And then teacher B responds, yes, Tyler. Tyler states, the legislative representatives are important because they make the laws we live by. Teacher B, does everyone agree with Tyler? Kayla replies, yes, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. Teacher B, that's good to hear, Kayla. Are there any students who disagree? Sorry. And no response. Wait about a minute, just to see if anyone was gonna raise their hand and disagree with him or them. Teacher B again responds, okay, with that said, why do we think it is important to know who has a hand in making laws for the United States? Jimmy responds, the legislative branch has the power to make laws, tell us what we can and can't do with our lives. And then this would be teacher B again, saying exactly correct. Work in progress. Lastly, Jimin responds, it is important for us to know who's in charge of making laws and ensure our desires and beliefs are represented in government. And then this is Jimin adding to Jimmy's thoughts. And then teacher A would come in and close up, stating, these are some of the things that we should think about and realize the importance of as we continue to grow in knowledge. So as for some barriers that me and my co-teacher came up with, we listed one as students may come to the conclusion they have to come up with a wrong answer or response when this may not be the case, and ending up in a dead end or halting thought production. So basically just getting stuck in thought and not being able to really continue or progress with their learning. And then secondly, parents may not inform their children or be against them learning about politics in school. And this could look like several different things. But the thing that came to my mind when I kind of introduced this thought to my partner, kind of thought about parents being a little fearful of teachers pushing off their political beliefs onto children, which may or may not be the case. Secondly, some I skipped one. I apologize. Oh, no, I didn't. All right, and then some ways around this that we found. Teachers may assure students they simply wish for an explanation and request a verbal production on previous thought processes that led students to their conclusions. So basically just requesting a response from the students, or requesting what their thought process is in the moment or in the past, just to kind of dive in and use the student's thought to help them along. And then it is an open discussion where any student may jump in and share their thoughts. Any resource may be used. So this was the kind of wraparound for students' parents not wanting them to be gaining political beliefs in school. The main solution is to have the children be the ones mainly in the discussions, and have the teachers more of guiding the discussions. That way it's not teachers pushing off their political beliefs onto any students. And then here we have some of the let me get the verbiage correct. The metacognitive statements. So for this section, I have two, one of which is teachers may utilize probing questions in order to lead students into deeper forms of thought. With simple questions, we could lead students to question and go over their work again and again, and possibly get the students to think in different ways in order to grow in knowledge and resourcefulness. And then my other one, I put, through how teachers ask questions, we can bring out various results in students. Here we can see the students were guided through a thoughtful discussion amongst themselves by their teachers. And that's referring to this discussion, or I guess the class meeting. And then just wanted to note, I'll also note Tanya's points. This is my co-teacher. She states, this can also be used as an open discussion for the whole class to talk about and give their input, insights. And then she also put, not every student may know the answer. There are simple questions asked which can help a student liberally think about them. And these are some of the things that we discussed together. One last one from her is, not every student may have the answer to a question, but they are able to look up through a book or another classmate or another resource. Can add time to discussion. So this is just kind of stating that students can be pretty resourceful using their text, their other students, and they can also grow off of each other. And that's pretty much where we're at so far.